4395, 800-709-4395.
Here's important new information from the Diabetes Solution Center for you, a family member, or a loved one suffering with diabetes. If you have lost your provider, or if you need a provider for diabetic supplies, you may qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no-obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
You're listening to Joco Community Radio.
Nowhere but Texas, that's where I'll be. Get home's the answer to all my dreams. I don't want that, but God calls me. Nowhere but Texas is where I'll be.
Good morning, Johnson County, Texas. We have the Mayor's Show. It's we are called, what's your show called? I'm sorry.
The County Pulse.
The County Pulse. That's right. I just read it too. Blame it on the ADD.
Just look good, sir.
We've got Chris Fletcher and Scott Kimble, Mayor of Joshua and Mayor of Burleson. Glad to have you guys on the show. Chris, I'm going to let you.
Show.
I'm ready. It's a great Tuesday.
You have a good day, okay?
Thank you. You too. We're going to rock and roll. I'm
we'll
ready.
See you in a little bit. Hopefully,
all
Tiffany
right.
will get here someday.
Yeah, she'll be right here.
Okay, no. Oh no, we're ready for another show of the the County Pulse. Had a great show last week. Was Mayor Scott Kane. Hang on, got to close the door. Had a lot of good conversation with him, and he's going to be your host next week. I've got a council retreat. I don't know why you call that a retreat. 8 hours of yes. Okay, so it's all good. And we are fortunate enough today to have the mayor of Joshua here, Scott Kimble. How you doing, Scott?
I'm doing great, Chris. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, man, looking forward to this. Let's talk about the purpose of this show and how we kind of got here. We have a lot of growth, 200,000 people here. And one of the things that I perceived is the fact that we don't start working, the Howell County working together when it's time for our infrastructure, and we don't address that, we're going to have a problem. And you're kind of in the middle of all of this. You got 917 and 174 all meeting at the same railroad track.
Yep.
So we're all in this. So we're going to have that discussion today. We got the elections coming up. We're going to talk about that. But the way I'm going to start the show off right now is last night we had a council meeting in Burleson, and we're going to go through that real quick. Our consent agenda, we talked about the Project Yukon, which is at our business park. That's going to be a 600,000 square foot facility. There'll be 100 full-time employees. That's going to be a capital investment of $125 million. Economic Development did a great job on that one. We had a request to change zoning from a single-family rural, which that zoning doesn't exist anymore. So we that triggered that process. We got that approved. Alley Cats is our new entertainment venue. And really, our sign ordinance did not address a building of this size. So they came back and wanted some additional signs on the building. We passed that. And then we talked about the May 4th election. We're going to get deeper into that. We also passed the needed venue to get the election started. Now, one thing we're going to discuss, we have permission to share part of the sub courthouse. So instead of everybody going to all these different places, you go to one stop. This includes Tarrant County. We all go to the sub courthouse to vote, and we'll have the time frames on that later in the show. Texas Brewing Company got their go ahead on redoing the front of their awning. The zoning and planning is going to have a meeting about some stuff on March 4th in the city council meeting. That'll be starting about 5 o'clock, I believe. This is everything to do about the liquor stores. We have set up zoning to make this more pleasing to the city. So we'll be discussing that on May 4th. You guys are all welcome. I really wish you guys would attend these meetings more. It's your town. You need to realize what's going on. We had a great report on the Burleson Fire and EMS. It was about transportation and how we're utilizing that, some of the funds on that. Casey Davis did a great job on that presenting. And this is the other thing that's going on, and Mayor Kimble, you'll realize this. It seems like Austin is just bound and determined to hurt small towns, and Burleson is still in that group. So Austin is, we have upped our game with our focused advocacy group, which is a legal group that keeps apprised of what's going on into city politics due to legislation in Austin. We stepped up to that, so we'll have access more to those people making those rules for us. So we're going to start fighting a little harder on that situation. And that's it. We got the deal out of the way. Now for the good stuff.
All right.
Okay. What do you want to talk about first? Roads, people you don't like?
Well,
I mean, what?
let's talk about the most important thing, the election.
That's excellent. I got a place to go look at this too.
All right. One of the fundamental responsibilities and duties of our citizens is to get out and vote.
I know.
And like in our last city election, right around 7% of registered voters got out and vote. So you've got a very small percentage of the people that are making the decisions of how the city is going to run, the direction it's going to go. And that's not just unique to Joshua. It's pretty much everywhere. The apathy is getting worse, and we got to find a way of getting more people out to cast their votes.
Absolutely. That's what I'm hoping to do with this show. We've lost the newspaper.
Yeah.
We don't have it any place. And last night we talked about getting the word out, and someone said, well, we got Facebook, we got our website. Well, I don't go on Facebook much anymore. After that last election, I pretty well don't.
I've not been on Facebook since 2010.
So, yeah, I understand that that's a venue, but our numbers on voting has gone down. Is it happening in Joshua too?
It has actually been holding kind of steady. And when you look at the voter rolls, the people who are getting out and voting, it's the same people. And that's sad. With the growth that we've had, we should be seeing a lot of new and different names showing up on those voter rolls, and we're just not.
I'm not looking real smart here. I'm trying to get my screen to go back to the deal, so I'll go this way. So do you have some of the things that we're wanting to do with this show is to go live to some of the restaurants to help promote some of the other restaurants. And like Joshua, you got Old Town is looking really good in Joshua.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got some really good places going down there. I'm sure we can work something into one of those.
Yeah. We get down there. We'll throw you under the bus and let you have Q&A with your citizens there. And also,
thanks, Chris. I appreciate that.
Anything for you, bud. And this is a situation where we want to be able to get a base where people can go somewhere and hear about the elections and what's available and stuff like that. We're not going to be political. We're not about, we got plenty of places that'll get the people out there. So it's strictly about letting the citizens know what's fixing to happen. Tell me, what do y'all do in Joshua to advertise it? Y'all put signs up?
Pretty much who is ever running for whatever positions puts their signs out. We do put informational signs up. We've got a nice flashing sign that we put up alongside the road to remind people that the elections are coming up and all that, when we're not using it to get people through construction sites and all that fun stuff. But there again, it's on our Facebook page. It's on our city web page. Our reconstituted Chamber of Commerce is getting the information out. We're trying to get as many people notified to remember the elections coming up as possible. But again, without a local newspaper, which nobody reads newspapers while you don't have them anymore, it's difficult. It's difficult to get it out there. And people have got to want to find the information.
See,
and
that's the problem. If you don't put it in front of them, they're not going to know to look.
They don't remember. I mean, May 4th, first Saturday of May, every year we have an election. It's not difficult. I mean, you can put that as a recurring thing on your phone, on your computer or whatever, will it'll pop up. Hey, election day, every first Saturday of the year, or of the month of May, it's going to happen every year. Why are we not getting more people to get involved? And again, it goes back to the apathy. One of the reasons why I'm so glad our election is actually in May as opposed to November is we don't get caught up in the national politics. We're a local election. It's a city election. It's not caught up in all the garbage that goes on during the national elections now. At this level of government, you've got to be apolitical. You've got to not say I'm this or I'm that. I belong to this tribe, that tribe, whatever. We have to represent all the people.
See, that city, we're not party driven.
No.
Since I've been in office, I don't know of one issue that's been brought up that's Democrat or Republican.
It shouldn't be. We are the closest government to the people. And we've got to respond to everybody's needs, not a certain group's needs.
Absolutely. And I don't know of one mayor that pushes one agenda over another. So this brings up a good question. I'm kind of for having our elections at the same time the federal elections are in November. What's the good or bad of that?
It might drive up participation slightly. The thing about it is, like I said, you get caught up then in the politics. Are you supporting this candidate or that candidate? Whose tribe are you going to belong to? And I call them tribes. To me anymore, we got one tribe, and we've got a ruling class, and we've got the ruled. And I'm sorry, but we've got to quit doing the same thing over and over. We've got to start making changes. We need to get out and find out what these people who are going to Washington to represent us, to Austin to represent us, we've got to find out for ourselves where they truly stand. You've been getting all the election stuff in the mail.
It's horrible. I know some of these people, and they don't deserve what they're getting.
No. And
I was there. I mean, I know exactly how that feels.
Yeah.
That's a dietary weight game that you don't want to go through.
Exactly. Okay? And again, if you go to the November elections, that's what we end up with. We end up getting caught up in that type of whirlwind that a city does not need to be in. We're going to get sucked into something that we don't need to be in.
Well, and I agree with you to a point, but the simplistic side of this thing is people will go to vote in the federal election and see that there's a city election going on and voting on that too. Plus the screen time you have with saying there's an election that we can piggyback on. In my election, we typically have maybe 4,000 people vote. We had over 10,000 people vote.
Mm-hmm.
There was some extraordinary stuff in that thing, but still more people went and voted because they knew there was an election.
But wouldn't you rather have them, when they're doing the local elections, focusing on local issues than on the national issues? And that's what the November election is going to get you. The focus is going to be in the wrong place.
But is it focus, or is it? And good morning.
Good morning,
Mayor
Good
Kimble.
to
It's been a
see
while
you.
since
Yes,
I've
ma'am.
seen you face to face. I'm Tiffany Carlin. I'm joining back in.
I'm glad you said that. They thought I was talking.
I had to, man, your voice has changed.
I know.
I had to run home and I had to pack a bag. I have to go out of town and I was challenged with time. The challenge really isn't so much about like where the focus is, but it's about getting people to the polls. And when local elections are held in May, or if you have a special election that's not in conjunction with the national election, the general election in November, that's been the greatest challenge for the small towns is no one's paying attention because there's no advertising of it. Now, a lot of times people will then get to the polls, like, and this is, I know where you're focusing too. They'll get to the polls during a general election and they're, oh, there's a local election too. Well, I've heard that name. I've heard that name. I've heard that name. So it comes back again, circling back around to education and awareness and who's responsible for that. Like you were saying, as I was driving back, I heard you say, okay, well, it's typically left in the hands of each candidate. Will go out and they'll advertise for themselves. They're promoting themselves. Of course, it's promoting the election. But again, are people paying attention? Are people paying attention?
And the problem is with the way life is nowadays, it's hard to get people's attention on anything.
Is it that so much as the lack of understanding how much their voice, like you were talking about Mayor Fletcher, actually, I'm sorry, Mayor Kimble, you said this, how important their voice is in these. If you want the roads fixed, if you don't want certain things to happen in your town, if all these things are important to you, education, vouchers, or property taxes, you have to use your voice, and that's voting.
Exactly.
You can't force people to the polls.
No.
So when you do those combined general elections, like, you were talking about wanting to do, Mr. Fletcher, is get everything to where it's November. People are paying attention to general elections. That's when they are paying attention. So if you have their eye, why not catch it at that moment to promote the local stuff that's going on?
Again, my big thing is you end up getting caught into the politics of it. And unfortunately, that is how all of our national elections and statewide elections are being driven.
Agree.
Is by pure politics. There's things that's suggested by people that I totally disagree with 97% of what they say. But they do propose some good things every now and then.
Right.
But if I'm going to vote for my tribe and my tribe only, if it doesn't have a certain letter after the name, you don't vote for it. That's the mentality that we are getting in those national elections. So if we do combined ballots, are we going to keep separate ballots for each one? All these things come into play. And are we all going to be able to do it at one location, or like Mayor Fletcher was saying, hey, we can do it all in one place now. You don't have to drive all over the city to vote in 4 different elections. If we can do it that way, that's great. But then you've got a ballot that's 72 pages long.
Well, I mean, typically though, because we've had joint elections for, a school district and for city elections before, county elections, and they're two separate ballots.
Yeah.
But I mean,
but you can get them at the same place. And fill them out at the same time and walk up and they'll say city ballot here, county ballot here. If you've got that many people going on and you've got 4 or 5 different ballots, how are you going to make sure that the right ballot's getting put into the right box?
Well,
that's what electioneering is for, and and having the staff.
It's just trying to get people to volunteer to work at the elections nowadays.
And that's a whole nother part of this thing. I'm going to address one thing. Our job is to get them to the election booth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if the politics plays into it, that's not our concern. The fact is, we made every effort to make this as simple, as knowledgeable of what we do as far as making the election available to them. I agree with where politics is going. Everybody is hardcore this side. It really bothers me that people don't listen to the other side. They have their shows that they watch, and they watch just that. And that's both sides.
Yeah.
And they take what that show is saying as law. They don't go research it. No, go check it out. Don't let them play you like a lot of them being played. That's fine. I've learned stuff that I didn't realize because I watch CNN every once in a while, especially if there's an issue going on that's really hitting the news. It is amazing how you can flip between channels and it's going like totally opposite viewpoints on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
If
that's
the opposition side actually even will talk about the issue.
Right.
Bingo. That's it. I've gone over where somebody.
You mean be transparent?
Yeah. Was hanging.
Cover the
I've
news.
seen something about hanging a thread over here and the people over here doesn't even cover it. I mean, like, okay. So, and I understand that. That's a great country that they've got the privilege of doing that. But where I'm going with this is it's not our job of how they vote, just to let them know that voting is available, and we can do that by following the lead on the federal. Now, Amanda, our city secretary, is having a huge problem of getting election workers. And the main thing is the word's not out there. It's their word is not there that we need election workers. So we're really promoting this. And I'm assuming y'all's having the same problem getting election workers.
Our city's still small enough. We don't have that big of an issue.
Okay.
Our city secretary, Alice, is great at making sure everything's manned and taken care of. She's a very detailed person, and our elections have run really smooth. Again, the whole just getting people to get involved is the issue. And the education part of it is very important. If the proper safeguards are put in place and everything's set up right, okay, fine. Let's go to November. Let's try to make it all happen. But I just don't see, because people trying to get an advantage here or there or whatever, I just don't see them coming up with something that's going to actually work for the people. I see too many things that could still be skewed to help one party over the other, one group over the other, etc.
We can't control that, though. I mean, this is the sad part of how party politics have infiltrated local elections that are bipartisan, or should be bipartisan, or people forget that they're bipartisan.
Very political. There's no partisanship in it. It should be apolitical.
It should. In fact, last week on Joko Vibes on the 9 a.m. show, I had actually reminded people that this is an open primary. That if you're one party or another, you can go vote in whichever primary you want. And I got a little beat up for it because I said, when you're looking at Johnson County, this is typically a Republican-run county.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And so if you want your voice to be heard in certain places, this is an open primary. And if you choose to, jump ship so that you can have a voice in some of the local things that are happening, you can do that. You can go vote the other party in the general election if you want. You can switch. This is just about primary voting. And now, granted, there are people who are running for certain positions countywide and statewide that are in the Democratic primary and the Republican primary. So it really depends on where you think your voice is going to be more powerful. And if you're an independent, like I am, I'm gonna vote where my voice can absolutely be heard. That's my choice. And so I want to explain it, because we did share a post the other day with all the information on one. You had until yesterday to register to vote in order to vote in the March 5th primary. And if you need to find out where you're registered and if you're registered properly to vote in that, you can go to votetexas.gov, and it walks you right through the process to find out all of your information. Early voting begins on February 20th. If no candidate receives a majority of the vote in the primary, the top two vote getters will compete in a runoff on May 28th. Texas is an open primary state, meaning voters can decide every 2 years whether to pick Republican or Democrat nominees, or you can hold out and vote for an independent. It's completely up to you. And then there's a complete list of candidates. We've shared this already on Joko Community Radio, and it's candidate.texas-election.com, and then you can put your information in there by county, party, whatever you want to do. So you can look that up, but we've included all those links. So there's a lot of information in there, and on Joko, if you go to our if you go to our Facebook page, all the information's in a post from yesterday. Actually, so I was going to say that's 23 hours ago we posted that, because yesterday was the deadline. The most important thing about what we're doing, and how you were talking about, there's no newspaper that covers the whole county, and that's what community radio does. And we have the option of doing this, and we're putting together the County Pulse, which is going to be a newsletter and a place where everybody can land to find out all of this information. Once again, because this is a collaborative idea, and I love being able to put all of us together and working as a team to bring this information back to the people, especially this. I know you talked about having an electronic sign in Joshua that tells people that that there's an election coming up. You want to do the billboards and put some actual, Burleson's going to be putting up some actual signage that an election's coming up. I mean, what else do you think? If it didn't go to a general election combined date for all of our voting, I mean, what's your solution? What's your idea?
Well, something had gone through my head while you were saying all this. Have we ever thought about trying to get a link to JOCO set up on every city's website? Every city has a website,
Try.
and that would be, for local information, so on and so forth. JOCO Radio, boom, you hit the link, you go to JOCO Radio. Anything that we can get out there where people can start getting that information, I think that'd be great.
I appreciate that. And in the future, and it's because it's being built right now, it's jococountypulse.com is where you'll be able to go to land, and that's the link that we can put. Don't go there now because there's nothing there, but it is being built right now, and so I appreciate that, because we too need the support of our cities, and that's what I love about Mayor Fletcher bringing the show to the table, is involving all of the cities together to make this happen. We've got 21 different shows here on JOCO Community Radio, and they're all supporting different aspects of the community across Johnson County, and the County Pulse just kind of pulls all of that together.
And if you're not listening, you're missing out.
Thank you.
There is a lot of good information that's coming across because of what you guys are doing here
I appreciate you
for the county. Chris and I, when he first got elected mayor, I was still a pretty new mayor, and we got together, and one of the first things we talked about was getting the mayors of the county together and getting the county involved with it. The relationships have got to change from what they used to be. It used to be we were all just standalone communities, and the county was a standalone entity. We can't do that anymore. The way this county is growing and the projections for our growth over the next 5 to 10 years, if we don't start planning and working on that stuff now, we're going to be caught way, way behind. And Chris's vision, getting on the RTC, getting involved with the North Texas Council of Governments, all these things that he's done to try to start getting some focus on Johnson County at the state level has been a boom for all of us, believe it or not. Burleson is the gateway to Johnson County. That's the only way to look at it. Sorry, Grandview, don't mean to give you a hard time down there, but
well, I mean, it is. It's 35.
This is about Grandview also. The things that we do here, we're trying to help every town,
and that's getting ready to change with some of the changes that are coming with the construction plans in the future and so on and so forth. But if we don't start getting together now, we're going to be we're behind.
Right.
We're going to be way behind. And that's going to cause a lot of problems.
Well, you were talking about numbers. In the last general election, 72,440 people voted. Okay. That's pretty amazing.
Really
72,440 people voted in the general election.
And to your comment, in fact, we know that people are voting. Oh, I'll vote that thing. Yeah, maybe they're not informed, but at least they're voting.
Hold that thought. We'll come back to it right after this break.
Yeah, nowhere but Texas.
Let's be honest. Wheelchairs are heavy, bulky, and ugly. If you carry a wheelchair in your car to take care of a loved one, you know how hard it is getting that clunky, old-style wheelchair in and out of your car. Introducing the Feather Chair Wheelchair. At 13 pounds, it's the world's lightest wheelchair. It folds in seconds and fits neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair. The world's lightest wheelchair is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
The voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.
Nowhere but Texas. That's where I'll be. Get home, see answers to all my dreams. I know one thing. God calls me. Nowhere but Texas is where I'll be.
We love us some Steve Helms, Cleburne native. Welcome back to the second half of the County Pulse here on Joco Community Radio. I'm Tiffany Carlin. I'm here to help banter, really. But this is Mayor Chris Fletcher's show, Burleson Mayor, and his guest today is Scott Kimble. And just a reminder, Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 24/7 on the TuneIn Radio Network. You can download that app if you want to for free, or you can simply download our app on Android or Apple devices. Simply search for Joco Community Radio, and our lineup and more information is on jococommunityradio.com. This episode and more brought to you by Next Level Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep at 844-TEX-HAIL. That's 844-839-4245. Get them in the corner before the next storm hits, and be sure to dress your arms some more at thetiffy.com. Hey, by the way, if you guys are kind of tired of every retailer now passing on their credit card fees to you, be sure to check out Swipe Nation, because they're going to teach you how you don't have to do that, and that's by lowering your rates, because it's actually double dipping, but that's for another show. We won't get into that here on the County Pulse, but we'll be talking about that. So thanks for joining us. And before we went to the break, you wanted to touch Mr. Mayor Fletcher. I don't want to say Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, welcome back, Mr. Mayor and Mr. Mayor. Chris, you wanted to.
There you go, Chris.
You wanted to top off on something that Scott said.
Well, the bottom line is I think that would be the way to go, and the efficiency of that, and everybody could vote it anywhere they wanted to, and it all come together. So that's one thing. I do want to touch bases on the local election. The last day to file to be a candidate is February 16th. And right now it looks like we're having an election totally unopposed. So we don't have anybody. We got the three people running. That's all I know of right now.
Now you're talking locally for Burleson
Locally
City
Burleson,
Council.
yes.
Okay.
In Joshua, it's the same thing. We just have the two incumbents that have filed so far to run.
Okay.
We need people to get involved.
But you know what? This is where that political thing comes in. It's gotten so dirty these past 5 years. It's gotten so political. And yeah, it wasn't just the mayor's race. It was city council positions.
Y'all need to let people know that I did not respond to anything. Y'all make it sound like I was being dirty too.
You weren't at all. At all.
You was mad because I wasn't.
True.
You was
I wanted
wanting
you
me
to
get
defend
fired
yourself.
up, and I wouldn't do it. So
It's not even about getting fired up. It's just about defending yourself, and people have a right to do that. But it just got so ugly, and it turned into anyone who defended themselves over, crazy psychotic attacks. You were then the bad guy for standing up for yourself, and you handled yourself very well. And guess what? You still won. So, and you won twice. So, I mean, congratulations. I mean, it doesn't have to be like that. But the thing is the way that some incumbents have tried to control these elections and made them so ugly. It's terrified.
Yeah.
other people from running for a position.
It has. It
And
really has. I've had several people say, well, you ought to get involved in this. I'm not getting that. I'm not going to get tore up like that.
it's disgusting. It's been some of the worst behavior I've ever witnessed in my entire life in politics. And Scott, you know, because you've seen it.
Oh, I've seen it. What I'm really glad is it's not made it to Joshua yet.
Thank God.
We have pretty calm elections. And the thing is, you still have people that I would like to see this happen. I want to see this change. I want to do that. Well, that's fine. Show up at city council meetings. Let us know your ideas. Run for office. Apply to be on planning and zoning commission.
That's
type
the start
A,
right
type
there.
B. Get involved with what's actually happening in the city so that your voice can be heard. And if we can keep it from getting to be such a nasty thing, it'll always work for everybody. When you start getting to that point where nobody else wants to run because they're so scared, whether it's true or not, doesn't matter. If it's on Facebook, it's true.
I love it.
You know,
Yep.
and that's got to stop. People have got to realize they need to check these things out. You know, we're getting ready to consider whether or not to call a bond election in Joshua in May.
Which is needed.
We need it. We've got roads that are in horrible shape, and we need that bond election to fix those roads. When you're talking it costing $1 million to fix a mile of road, it gets expensive real quick to
What's your
start repairing those
population?
roads. A little over 8,000 right now.
See, that's tough. And I mean, and here's the deal. Burleson's going through the same thing. I had a situation speaking at a breakfast, and a guy got there late and he jumped on me about the roads. Well, you live in Cleburne. You're using our roads. You've got worse of a case on 174 because you're the entrance to the gateway.
Mm-hmm.
You have the same damage, but fewer people to pay for it.
Exactly.
So all of this is very pertinent to what's going on.
Yep.
So,
and we're also going to consider a possible bond for a new municipal complex for our police department and city hall. Nobody likes the idea of seeing their taxes go up. And that's why this needs to be discussed. You know, we need to have the input from our citizens as to what you think. We had a bond committee that went through and they recommended which streets we need to repair. They came up and they recommended that we build a new police department in City Hall. We want to do that. But there again, when you find out what the possible effect is, it makes it real difficult. And I've been on city council since 2015. We've had one tax increase since I've been on City Hall, and we've either held the same or dropped every year. You know, last year we dropped 6 cents off of our tax rate, and we doubled our homestead exemption for the city. So we did a double whammy for our citizens with the largest tax increase the state had ever passed, or we'd ever experienced. Let's put it that way.
is that because of the no new revenue?
Part of it's the no new revenue issues. And that's the other thing. It's crazy when you have to go to the state basically to let them tell you what your tax rate's going to be because of this convoluted way they make us figure our budgets. So it's getting more and more complicated. We're having to get more and more creative on how to take care of our stuff. But typically when you're talking large ticket items like streets, it has to be a bond. And everybody wants the street in front of their house not to tear their car up every time they pull out of the drive. So, you know, we've got to look at it. We want citizen input. Our council meeting, February 15th, 6:30 at City Hall. Please come and let your voice be heard about what you think about this.
Do you want it there? I mean, do you also, I mean, how do you feel about, you know, email communication from your residents as well to, you know, to you and to all of the, you know, council?
That's fine. However they want to communicate, that's great. The in-person though, lets people know, hey, this is important to me. You know, I can sit behind a computer and type out emails all day long and to whatever I want to type them out to, but are you going to invest your time to actually come and say, hey, this is why I think this is a bad idea, or hey, this is why I think it's a good idea? And your opinion, your voice is just as important as the 7 people setting up there making the decisions.
So for Joshua, your meetings are 6:30 p.m. Central Time. It's the third Thursday of each month
Yes, ma'am.
at Joshua City Hall, which is 101 South Main Street, in case you didn't know that. And your next one's coming up on February 15th,
Yes, ma'am.
the day after
Valentine's
Valentine's.
Day. Yeah.
It should be a great
Yeah.
conversation of love.
Yeah.
So we're
One of the biggest complaints we get is the lack of parking at our city hall. Right across the street from City Hall, there's a municipal parking lot. It's plenty of room to park. You can park over in front of the police station. There's room to park around there. And we just would absolutely love to have some citizens start showing up and listening and seeing how their city government is working for them. We're not working against you. We're working for you.
Well, speaking of working for the people, I've seen a sneak peek of something on LinkedIn of a really cool container park. I don't know how much you want to talk about that, but I've seen it. I saw it on Facebook.
Station 174 is what we're calling it.
Super
it is an
cool looking.
awesome concept. It really is. We're excited with the concept and everything, but the problem is every time we go a little bit further, we start getting these cost estimates. And right now it's just really kind of out of reach for the city cost wise. It's going to stay on the burner, but it's going to be a back burner on low for a while.
Is it something that you might find a developer to be interested in participating in?
Molly Martin, our economic development coordinator, is talking to developers constantly. And we're hoping she can find somebody who will see the possibilities of this and want to invest in it for us.
I see it.
Oh, I do too.
We'll chat later, maybe.
Yeah,
I've seen it for a while. I won't tell you
it.
where I saw the first sneak peek, but when I saw it on her LinkedIn, just even more so, I was like, man, this is such an awesome concept. And I think I showed it to you, didn't I?
Yeah.
I think I did. And you're like, hey, can I talk to whoever's doing that? And
We actually introduced that to the community last year at our State of the City address at the Chamber Luncheon, quarterly Chamber Luncheon, which, by the way, is February 20th. And if you go to the Joshua Chamber of Commerce website, you can buy tickets. We will be talking about everything that's going on in the city and some of the other plans that are going. And we got some neat things coming. Molly's doing a great job with economic development. Our Type A Economic Development Corporation is really supporting her and working hard, trying to bring things to the city that we need and the citizens are telling us they want. And that's, we're getting some input on some of these things. Everybody's excited that we're supposedly getting a Whataburger. The final plans have been submitted. It's just a matter now of turning dirt and getting it going.
Whereabouts?
It's going to be just south of the Starbucks in Joshua Station.
wow,
Good.
it's like either if you get a Whataburger or a Buc-ee's,
Yeah.
you're golden.
You're somebody.
Yeah.
You're golden.
I don't think we're going to ever get a Buc-ee's in
No,
Joshua,
no.
but the Whataburger is coming. We're excited about that. And she's got some other things developing, and we're certainly excited and happy to have her working for us.
Now, how long has she been with the city?
Almost 2.5 years
Yeah.
now, I think. She's been here a good while, and she's been instrumental in bringing quite a few things into the city.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Main Street's just kind of growing, and it's got some great little restaurants and shops, and
I'll put them up against any of them.
I have my favorite. I've eaten at all of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, it's great to watch the transformation and to see the residents who are part of that growth. Right.
Yeah. We're constantly trying to update our downtown master plan and what we're trying to do and everything. And one of the things that's been being kicked back and forth is we've got people that keep coming up and saying, we'd like to have just an old fashioned street dance. And so we're working on trying to put something like that together. We had our Joshua United at the city park in April of last year. 750 to 1,000 people came through our city park during that event. And that was 5 local churches got together and partnered with the city and the Chamber of Commerce and put on this fantastic day in the park. And we're excited that, you know, our ministerial alliance is starting to work. You know, people are just, we're wanting our community to come together as a community. We want to be there to support each other and to help each other and have some fun together.
I agree.
So, and our chamber getting reconstituted is really being a big help. We now have a new permanent president. We're excited about that. We're excited about the things that she's trying to plan and get going. And we see great things happening in Joshua.
Have her contact Tiffany, get her on board here, try to help out on some of our projects.
I'll do that. I will do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Thanks.
Run with it.
You are making it happen. So you said February 20th for the lunch
Yes, ma'am.
or 21st?
The
No?
20th, Tuesday
Okay.
the 20th.
I'm on the website and it's not up there yet. That's why okay. That's
Should
last
be on the
year's.
website.
Well, I'm on the chamber website and maybe I didn't go far enough. It's showing past events.
So
I don't know what I'm looking
it
at.
is- it
Maybe on the
is
wrong
listed
page.
on the
No, I
city-
found it. I found it. It's the current one. I got it
You
now.
got a-
So
the
I'm
perfect straight to do that with too, because you can move it down and not stay out of the way of 917.
Yeah.
You could block it. That'd be great.
You know, if TxDOT would ever get the overpass or underpass of the railroad
That
track
amazes
and
me
everything.
what they want to do on your railroad. They want to go
Oh.
under your railroad.
Yep. And, you know, it's been 26, 27 years in the making that we've been being told this is going to happen. They've got the plan. And from what I understand, they've made the final, but we can't get a straight answer as to when they're going to let the bids and start turning dirt to make it happen.
Is
Yeah.
all the ROW purchased and environmental? Nothing.
all the environmental stuff, all the pre-work's done. It's just time to let the bids start getting their right of ways and all that taken care of and get it started. But
We'll talk more about that, about what they call shovel ready now.
yeah,
I got a whole new perspective on that from somebody else.
but you know, it's getting to a point to where that railroad track is becoming a safety issue. You know, we've got so much construction, new builds going on the other side of that railroad track. Our fire department, if there's a train stop there waiting for somebody to come through and switch,
Ambulance.
it can add 5 to 7
Yeah.
minutes in response time. And in an emergency, that's deadly. So we're really hoping TxDOT will get off center and get it going for us. And you know, we're trying to talk with our state representative, our state senator, and everybody we can to see what they can do to help us get it going.
Okay, let me bring this up. I know that Burleson had one, Alvarado had one. Did you get a freezing nickels on the master plan for the county?
Yes.
Did y'all get a viewing?
As far as I know, we did. Yeah. I know the city manager was looking at that.
Okay.
And I absolutely love the county's master plan idea.
Oh, absolutely.
I think
Badeker.
Judge Bedecker did a fantastic job putting that together. And it's going to take 2-3 years to get everything lined out because we got a lot of roads that's got to be looked at and a lot of needs.
Well, they were going to have something for us to look at in 6 months, and that's kind of coming close to that time frame. But we can go ahead and start looking at the bond packages, the
Yeah.
matching federal funds pretty quick.
Yeah.
And that'll take a lot of stuff there. But the getting shovel ready for TxDOT, it's not just the engineering, it's not just purchasing ROW, it's also the environmental and also the moving the utilities, which you get reimbursed after it comes around.
Yeah.
So that's where we've been missing out. That's the reason other counties and other cities has been getting TxDOT to jump over us to go do it because we're just shovel ready. We just engineering.
Yeah.
So that's got to change. We got to get more aggressive on doing the other stuff. And when you're purchasing ROW from somebody locally, do they want to work somebody from the city or from somebody from the state? And
Yeah.
that's one of the things I don't like people being mistreated on their land.
No.
So
No.
yeah, that's all good. Underpass under 917.
Yeah,
That just blows
that's
me away.
I was looking at the plan and we've got a really neat video that TxDOT put together showing how it's going to
Like the aerial, like a drone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got one of those
watching
on 34
It
and on
is just
35.
really neat. The concept and everything. And, but that'll get 917 out of downtown. So when we had our Christmas parade, the biggest thing we have when we hit 917 coming up Main Street, we can't block 917. And that little L jog through there right by in front of City Hall keeps us from being able to go from one end of town to the other end of town with our city parades and stuff. So we're looking forward that, hopefully in the near future, we'll be able to start changing how some things flow through the downtown area. And that will spur a lot of new growth in downtown too.
I'm afraid to help you out because we might get bumped back again.
No, come on, Chris, you're such a good guy. You owe me one.
I'm there for you, and y'all really do need that. There's a lot of things going on. Really, some bumps in the roads on a few things.
Yeah,
TxDOT kind of does what they want to do.
Oh yeah.
So, but they're good people. They got a lot on their plate too.
Yeah, squeaky wheel gets the grease, and we got to start squeaking louder.
So, are you in this election this time?
No. It's place 4 and place 6 on our council. All of our places are at large. So
who's running this time? What's the names?
Merle Breitenstein is running for reelection in place 4, and Shelley Anderson is running for reelection in place 6.
Okay, excellent.
And we've shared that post that's on Joco Community Radio's Facebook page. If you go to that post from yesterday, there's a link to where you can find all the candidates for Johnson County, and see why it's important to vote, even if it's unopposed.
Yeah,
I think it's really important to get out and vote. And this is not, you're not only voting on the local stuff. You have Texas. And county stuff that needs to be voted on. Speaking of attending meetings and having a voice, 9 a.m. on Monday, February 12th, 2024 is in the Commissioner's Courtroom on the second floor of the Johnson County Courthouse, which is it's 2 North Main Street in Cleburne. That is where, that's when the next Commissioner's Court meeting is. You can watch them online as well, but people think that it's not important to know what's going on county-wise, and it doesn't matter if you live in the county or if you're in the city. You need to pay attention what's going on in the County Commissioner's Court. You vote those people into their positions. Are they or are they not doing their jobs? And are they or are they not doing what the people want? And I mean, it's up to you whether you choose to pay attention or not. Just know that when you're complaining about something and you haven't voted or you haven't participated or you're not showing up to the meetings, you're not calling your county commissioners on issues that you're having as well. I mean, I just don't.
Well,
you don't have room to complain if you're not participating.
This was the purpose of this new radio show. This is what I wanted. This is not just about the towns. This is about the county too, like the master plan that we're talking about. This is the ISDs, it's the cities and the counties. The matching funds that we're trying to get from the federal government addresses upgrades, not just new roads. This is important to us. And you're right. Every elected official needs to be held accountable. It doesn't matter if it's a judge, commissioner, a mayor, a council, every one of them needs to be held accountable.
And by the way, there's a lot of positions you vote for. These are elected officials who get a very hefty paycheck. Oh, yeah. Very hefty paycheck. We're talking 6 figures. Mm-hmm. Am I right?
Yes.
So when you think about that, it's not just about having.
I get 3 figures. That's counting past the decimal point too.
It's your county positions. Your district attorney gets a paycheck. Your county commissioners get a paycheck. Your county judge gets a paycheck. So this is not just about electing the right person in the position. It's making sure that our tax dollars, because that's our money being spent and paying these people to do a job. Are they doing their job? Are they showing up to meetings? That's a really big one right there. Yeah. Are county commissioners all showing up to their meetings? Are they returning emails? Are they returning phone calls?
Please don't answer those questions.
I could speak specifically of mine, because when we say, hey, our road needs to be scraped, the grass is, because we're out in the county, we've got overrun. He comes out and it's done. He gets the job done.
I can think of a couple of names that would say that.
Yeah.
That would do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and by the way, the county commissioners meeting that's being held on Monday, February 12th, it is Johnson County Commissioners Court will consider proposed revisions to the subdivision rules and regulations of Johnson County. And so if you want to understand what that's about and how that's going to affect you, you have to pay attention. You have to pay attention. And what county? Sometimes just having conversations like this on a public forum puts a county commissioner or any other elected official into a place of, someone might pay attention. Maybe I should show up to a meeting. Okay. So just saying, sometimes you got to call them on the carpet.
Yep.
Do your job. Look, and it's okay, Mayor and Mr. Mayor. You don't have to comment. I'm just a taxpayer. So
no, I'm absolutely fine with that. Of course, on this show, I'm going to tiptoe some.
Yeah,
I have to. I'm not about politics or anything like that. It's about getting the counties to come together and do what we need. But the bottom line, if someone's not doing their job, and let me tell a few of the candidates out there, if you're twisting the truth, I will call you. I'm sick of people twisting the truth to make somebody try to look bad. And I will give you a call. I won't get it on the radio, but I will give you a call. I've already done that.
That's the politicking.
Yep.
But again, you're a citizen. If you have a right to vote and you vote or don't vote, I hate to hear people who don't vote and they want to complain about stuff, or they want to, splash political stuff out on social media, but then they don't go vote.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
So let me tell you one thing that's going on that's got me chapped so bad. And this is at the state level, no names, but one bunch out of Pennsylvania gave somebody $6 million to do their bidding to preach hate in the state level. And I'm
somebody out of Pennsylvania paid somebody here in Texas.
Yes.
To
go after individuals. Okay. That's very vague, but very true.
Can I say who it?
No.
Oh, no. Okay.
No. But it has really got me upset to be done. And I hadn't even made my mind up.
$6 million?
$6 million. $500,000 of it went to a company to arrange the attacks.
Wow.
So this is ridiculous, underhanded. And
is this
I
all
got
about
other
pushing
names
school
for you, but I'm
vouchers,
not
possibly?
Huh?
Is this all about pushing school vouchers?
We got 33 seconds.
All right. Well, you got to go do your own research on where this money
Scott,
came
thank
from.
you for being here, man.
Oh, I appreciate the invitation very much. I appreciate what you're doing. The county used to be, like I said, separated. Everybody was different. And by golly, we're trying very hard to pull it back together.
We're better together.
Amen.
Hashtag JoCo better together. And standing alone, that's kind of how they.
Next week's.
That's kind of how they want them.
Mayor Kane next week.
Yeah. Have an amazing day. God bless and be kind.
See you guys.
Yeah, nowhere but Texas.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JoCo Community Radio.
If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and